I'm going to save you weeks of Pinterest boards, 40 open browser tabs, and a group chat full of where should we go messages that never end in a decision. What you're about to get are 7 complete 10-day Europe itineraries, planned out day by day, that you can literally screenshot and hand to a travel agent, or just copy straight into your own calendar. No guesswork, no wasted travel days, just proven routes that flow and fit neatly into the one real vacation window most of us actually get in a year. Each of these runs almost entirely on trains and short flights, so you're not losing half a day to driving. And I'll flag roughly how each one compares on cost, so you can pick based on your budget, not just your bucket list. I've ordered these from solid to spectacular, so even the trip at number 7 is one people rave about for years, and the one at number 1 is the itinerary that consistently gets the most requests in my comments and inbox. Stick around for number 1, because it's the itinerary I get asked about more than almost any other trip on this channel. Let's get into it. Itinerary number 7, Italy's greatest hits. This is the itinerary that made 1 million people fall in love with Italy, and there's a reason it still works. Land in Rome and spend your first 3 days chasing the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, the Pantheon, and the Trevi Fountain, booking your Colosseum ticket for the earliest slot before the lines take over, and saving your evenings for Trastevere, where the food is better and cheaper than anywhere near the main tourist strip. From there, a high-speed train gets you to Florence in about 90 minutes, where you spend 2 days wandering the Uffizi, climbing the Duomo, and catching sunset from Piazzale Michelangelo. Day 6 is a quick hop to the Cinque Terre, 5 pastel fishing villages stacked along cliffs on the Ligurian coast, perfect for 2 slower days of hiking between towns and eating fresh seafood by the water. You finish with 2 full days in Venice, getting lost in the canals, riding a vaporetto instead of a gondola to save money, and watching the sunset from the Rialto Bridge. The whole route runs on trains, so you never need to rent a car, and every leg is under 2.5 hours. Late spring and early fall are the sweet spots here. Warm enough for the coast, but cool enough that the Rome heat doesn't wreck your sightseeing days. Itinerary number 6, Greece island hopping. If your version of a perfect trip involves white buildings, blue domes, and doing absolutely nothing productive for a few days, this one's for you. Start with 2 days in Athens, enough time to see the Acropolis at sunrise before the crowds, and wander the Plaka neighborhood at night. Then take a short flight or a ferry to Santorini for 3 days of caldera views, volcanic beaches, and the famous Oya sunset, staying in Fira or Imeravigli to keep costs down while still walking to Oya in the evenings. From there, a ferry takes you to Mykonos for 3 more days of beach clubs, windmills, and narrow whitewashed alleys built to get you lost in the best way. Finish with 2 final days back in Athens, either repeating your favorites or adding a day trip to Delphi. Book ferries in advance during peak season because they sell out fast, and consider flying between islands if your schedule gets tight. Prices spike hard in July and August, so if your dates are flexible, June or September gets you the same weather with thinner crowds and better rates. Itinerary number 5, the Iberian Loop. This one gets slept on constantly, and it shouldn't. Portugal and Spain together give you 2 completely different cultures in one trip. Start with 3 days in Lisbon, riding the historic Tram 28, eating pastel de nata straight from the bakery, and day tripping to the fairy tale cliffside town of Cinque. A short train ride north puts you in Porto for 2 days of port wine cellars and riverside dinners in the Ribera district. Cross into Spain for 2 days in Seville, where flamenco shows and the Plaza de España make for one of the most underrated stops on this entire list. Finish with 3 days in Madrid, hitting the Prado, Retiro Park, and a proper tapas crawl through La Latina. Trains connect almost every leg, and this route is genuinely more relaxed and more affordable than some of the busier itineraries on this list, with both Portugal and Spain offering excellent value on food and hotels compared to Italy or Switzerland. Itinerary number 4. Central Europe Classic. This is the trip for anyone who wants castles, coffee houses and thermal baths without needing a single flight between cities. Spend 3 days in Prague, getting lost in its fairy tale old town, crossing the Charles Bridge at sunrise and touring Prague Castle. A comfortable train ride takes you to Vienna for 3 days of grand palaces, classical concerts, and some of the best cake you'll ever eat at a traditional cafe. From there, another short train gets you into Budapest for 4 days, split between the Buda side's castle views and the Pest side's ruin bars and thermal baths, where soaking in the Széchenyi baths outdoors is genuinely one of the best experiences in Europe. This route is one of the most budget-friendly on the list. The trains between all 3 cities are fast and scenic, and the Christmas markets here from late November through December make it one of the few itineraries that also works outside summer, giving you an easy excuse to book it in a completely different season than the rest of this list. Itinerary number 3. Croatia and the Balkans. If you want dramatic coastlines and turquoise water without the crowds of Italy or Greece, this is your route. Begin with 3 days in Dubrovnik, walking the ancient city walls early before the cruise ship crowds arrive, and taking a boat out to the nearby islands. Head north along the coast to Split for 2 days, exploring Diocletian's palace, a living neighborhood with shops and restaurants built right into the ancient walls, and using it as a base for a day trip to the Blue Cave or Hvar Island. From there, spend 2 days at Plitvice Lakes National Park, a series of turquoise lakes connected by wooden boardwalks and waterfalls that looks unreal in photos and even better in person. Finish with 3 days in Zagreb, a smaller capital with a laid-back cafe culture and easy day trips into the countryside. This route works best with a rental car for the Plitvice and Split legs, though buses connect every stop, and it's one of the best value trips on this list, with prices noticeably lower than neighboring Italy, despite similarly stunning coastline. Itinerary number 2. Alpine Escape. This is the itinerary for people who want mountains more than museums. Start with 2 days in Zurich, a clean and walkable base on Lake Zurich, with a quick free viewpoint from the Lindenhof over the old town if you want an easy first morning walk. Then move on to 2 days in Lucerne, where the wooden chapel bridge and views of Mount Pilatus set the tone for the rest of the trip. Spend 3 days in Interlaken, the adventure capital of Switzerland, riding cable cars up to Jungfraujoch, the highest railway station in Europe, for views of the Eiger and the Jungfrau that genuinely stop conversations mid-sentence. Cross into Austria for 3 final days in Salzburg, wandering the streets that inspired the sound of music, touring Hohensalzburg Fortress, and taking a day trip into the nearby Lake District to towns like Hallstatt. Switzerland runs on efficient trains, though it's also the most expensive country on this list, so a Swiss travel pass can meaningfully cut down what you'd otherwise spend on train and cable car tickets. Check the forecast before locking in your Jungfraujoch day, since clear skies make an enormous difference to what you'll actually see at the summit. Itinerary number 1. Scandinavian capitals and fjords. And here's the one people ask me about the most. Start with 3 days in Copenhagen, biking through Nyhavn's colourful harbour, exploring Tivoli Gardens, and eating your way through the city's incredible food scene. A short flight or scenic train takes you to Oslo for 2 days, enough time for the Vigeland Sculpture Park and a walk through the Opera House district, where you can climb right up onto the sloped roof for a free harbour view before continuing on toward the fjords. Then comes the highlight of the entire trip. 4 days deep into the Norwegian fjords, riding the famous Flom Railway and cruising through Nerøy Fjord, one of the narrowest and most dramatic fjords in the world, staying in small towns like Flom or Bergen, where the mountains drop straight into the water. Finish with a final day back in Bergen, wandering the colourful wharf of Bryggen, but runs a little higher in cost than the others on this list, largely due to Norway's prices. But almost everyone who does it says the fjords alone made the entire trip worth it. If budget is tight, shifting a day or two from Copenhagen into the fjords is usually a better trade than the other way around. And that's all 7. 7 complete routes, 7 different sides of Europe, and every single one built to actually fit into 10 real days without leaving you exhausted before your trip even starts. None of these need a rental car for the whole trip, none of them waste a day on unnecessary transit, and every one of them is designed so you can copy it exactly or swap in a city or two based on what you're into. If you had to pick just one of these to do first, tell me which one in the comments. I read every single one of them. And if this saved you hours of planning, subscribe, because I'm building out full country-by-country breakdowns of every trip on this list, coming very soon.